Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build will be the Shadow Cascade Synchronized Strike Blade Dancer. Now the first thing I noticed a lot of people talking about in Discord and on the forums and in streams was that the mana nerf that affected Shadow Cascade, where you would only get 6 mana back per shadow now instead of 12, completely nerfed the build. Also, they were saying that inside of Synchronized Strike you can't have it actually cast the Cascade for you, because it actually consumes 5 mana per shadow. So you get 6 mana back, but you're consuming 5. It was just way too expensive to keep it going. And then there was one workaround I saw where somebody had taken off the extra shadows, so Synchronized Strike was no longer making 4 shadows, it was only making 2, and with mana efficiency it was built to work. However, all of that's gone. We found a way to make it work with the maximum amount of shadows. You're still going to get the same amount of shadows as you did before. You're still going to have your mana always full. However, the difference now is going to be that instead of having Synchronized Strike auto cast Shadow Cascade for you, you have 2 ways to proc it. You either shift and have it do Cascade for you, or you're going to manually use Shadow Cascade after you have used Synchronized Strike. So you can go Synchronized Strike, then Shadow Cascade, and keep bouncing back and spamming the skills like you would before, or you can just use Synchronized Strike every time right before you shift, and shift will automatically use it for you, so you can kind of go zoom zoom. Now this build also got a lot more defensive. We're going to have 100% glancing blow. We're going to have 85% dodge. Yes, dodge is so easy to get on the rope. We're going to get 85% dodge. And then with all the damage reduction, you're going to get over 50% damage reduction from armor, because you're still able to stack up about 5,000 armor with the Shurikens and some of it on gear. You'll have some threshold, although we don't really build into it at all. And then of course you're always going to be moving. Synchronized Strike is a movement skill, Shift is a movement skill, so you're going to get the 25% damage reduction while moving. Alright, so lots of damage reduction. You can basically face tank all the bosses. You can go really far in the arena. You're still doing huge damage outputs. You're still going to be doing 20,000 damage per Shadow Cascade hit that the shadows are using against mobs. So against the training dummy, you know, you're doing 1,000,000 damage. It's ridiculous. So let's go ahead and get into the skills. Alright, for skills, we're running the 5 S's. We got Synchronized Strike, Shift, Shurikens, Smoke Bomb, and Shadow Cascade. For Synchronized Strike, the way that this was set up last patch was that you could come down here to the bottom right and you would get more area per shadow. So you would get 60% more area per shadow, and you usually have 4 or 5 shadows. So that's a huge area boost that you would get with Synchronized Strike. However, you would also have it to where you had Wave of Darkness, and that would automatically use Shadow Cascade, which gave it a huge area boost. However, they nerfed that by making it consume 5 mana per shadow. Now this would have been fine, but unfortunately in Shadow Cascade you no longer get 12 mana back per shadow, you only get 6. So if you take this node, you actually only get 1, which means that there's no way to keep up with the mana cost. So we went ahead and spec'd out of that, and we're just going to manually cast Shadow Cascade, or we can shift, and shift will auto proc it for us instead. So with this setup, we have 2 points in Shadow Fang, 2 points in Blade Prowess, 3 points in Lethality, and 1 point in True Strikes. 3 points in Dynamics for the mana efficiency. Very important, you're going to need this or you will have mana problems. 3 points in Growing Darkness for some extra area, 5 points in Foreshadowing for 200% increased damage, and 1 point in Dark Ally so that you get 2 more shadows than the 2 that it created, so you get 4 when you use it instead of 2. This gives you a lot of extra damage, especially since there's a lot of affixes and a few different places that give you more damage per shadow. Now before you take this, make sure that you have spec'd into the 3 points of Dynamics first, or you will have mana problems. Also, before you take this, make sure that you get mana efficiency with Synchronized Strike on both the chest and the helm. Only 1 tier each, that's all you need, so you don't have to, you know, try and craft some GG gear. You just need tier 1 on the chest and on the helm of mana efficiency with Synchronized Strike, and then it will run really, really smooth. For Shift, we have Shift set up to proc Shurikens, to proc a Shadow, to proc Cascade, to give you lots of dex, to make you invulnerable, to give you haste, to give you mana. It basically does everything. Okay, so we got 2 points in Shadow Recuperation, so it heals you. 5 points in Sleight of Hand, so it procs 5 Shurikens, 4 points in Swift Recovery for 16 mana gained. The skill itself only costs 15, so you technically have a mana generator of 1 mana every time you shift. 1 point in Shadow Slip, so you're invulnerable while shifting. 3 points in Elusive, so that you get 90 dodge rating per point of dex that you have. This will allow you to reach cap dodge of 85% for 1 second. 3 points in Momentum, so you get haste for 1.5 seconds. 1 point in Lasting Presence for a shadow to be created after you shift. And 1 point in Dancing Shadows means that you will automatically use Shadow Cascade instantly after you have shifted, which is really nice. So you can Sync Strike, and instead of manually casting Shadow Cascade, you can just shift and it will proc it for you. Then we have Shurikens. Now the reason that we have shift proccing 5 Shurikens is because we get armor percentage increase per Shuriken. So we have 3 points in Alacrity for 15% attack speed. Don't need that, but that unlocks the Thin Shurikens so that we now get 2 additional Shurikens. That also doesn't matter, but it unlocks the Blade Shield so that Shurikens will now be cast around you and they have a duration so they don't instantly disappear. So now for 3 seconds you get them. Shift cooldown is 3 seconds, which means you'll have 100% uptime of it. And with 3 points in Bladed Armor, you get a 30% increase per Shuriken that's spinning around you. You can have up to 5 that are procced by shift, which means that you have 150% increased armor, which is huge. I put 4 points in Floating Blades for 60% increased duration, because maybe you don't put shift on autocast, maybe you don't proc it every 3 seconds. You can go up to just over 4 seconds now without an issue. I also have 4 points in Abrasive Arsenal. Since they can pierce with 4 points in Ethereal Blades, they'll continue to spin around you even when they hit enemies. If you don't get the pierce, they'll actually disappear and you'll have to recast it. And then with 4 points in Abrasive Arsenal, and every time that they hit, you have a 200% chance to shred physical resistance and poison resistance, and you'll have 5 of them hitting as they spin very quickly around you. For Smoke Bomb is going to give you Dust Shroud so that you get more dodge, you get more Glancing Blow. It'll apply Armor Shred, it'll apply Slow, it'll give you Leech, and it'll make Shadows. All of those are good things. So we have 1 point Enshrouded in Darkness. For every Dust Shroud stack that you have, you get 5% more Glancing Blow and 50 more flat dodge, which is huge. On top of that, you already have 71% Glancing Blow before even beginning to get Dust Shroud, so you'll have 100% Glancing Blow almost at all times, especially if you're inside Smoke Cloud. We have 4 points of Rapid Concealment, so that instead of every 2 seconds, it'll be every second that it gives you one. 1 point in Thick Smoke, so it applies slow to enemies. 1 point in Eroding Fumes, so it will shred 1 stack of armor on enemies. 2 points in Lingering Fumes for duration, 3 points in Smoke Blades to give you some more melee damage, 3 points in Blood Bandit to give you some more melee leech, 4 points in Umbral Assault so that it creates a shadow every second, and 1 point in Generosity so the starting area is slightly larger. And then for Shadow Cascade, your main damaging skill, we have 4 points in Shadow Torrent so that you get 12% more damage per shadow. You'll either have 4 or 5 shadows active when you use it, so that's 60% more damage. 1 point in Battle Trance so you get 100 flat dodge rating when using it. 1 point in Crushing Shadow for 30% more damage. You don't care about the attack speed scaling. 1 point in Flow State, since you have 2 swords, you get another 30% more damage. 4 points in Rapid Expanse for a much larger area. 2 points in Precision to increase the base critical strike chance. 2 points in Carnage for some more crit multi. 2 points in Gloomstalker so that every kill that you get, there's a 40% chance to make another shadow, which is free mana back. Now, 2 points in Fight in the Shadows. This was a node that was nerfed. It used to be 12 mana per shadow. Now you can only get 6. And 1 point in Onslaught. There's a 25% chance when you use Shadow Cascade that you'll get the mana back. For passives, I got 40 points in the Rogue base class with 8 points in Steady Hand, 8 points in Guile, 5 points in Evasion for that 25% less damage taken while moving because you will basically always be moving. 5 points in Agility so that you can get haste on hit chance. 1 in Twin Blade for dual wielding, you'll need that. 8 points in Duelist for more damage while dual wielding and more dodge rating while dual wielding. and 5 points in dodge and parry for some flat dodge and 15% glancing below. If you want to move some points around from one of the other ones, I definitely recommend getting some of that health gain on glancing below because that's effective, especially since you'll have 100% glancing below. However, we also have health on dodge, and we have a huge amount of dodge, not 100%, but at 80% dodge, it's far more likely that you're going to get a lot of health back that way as well. Although you could tag team and synergize them, and you'll basically get guaranteed health back on glancing below if you get hit, and if you don't get hit, you dodge it, you get health back too. So either way is a win-win. 0 points in the marksman and 72 points in the Blademaster, with 8 points in Cloak of Shadows, 6 points in Sky Synthesis, 8 points in Once, 1 point in Shroud of Dusk, 5 points in Veil of Night. This gives you a 30% chance on every melee attack to get a Dust Shroud, which is huge. That's going to help you get to that 100% glancing blow and give you a lot more flat dodge. 6 points in Asuvan's Pact, 5 points in Perfection, 5 points in Confidence, and 3 points in Exuberance. This 10 stacks of Perfection that you get gives you 500 base armor and 500 flat dodge, which is huge. The Shurikens, of course, give you 150% boost on that. That's what really pushes you into getting that 5,000 armor and that 20,000 dodge, so that you have really good damage reduction, very high chance not to even be hit. 5 points in Blood Dance, 1 point in Flash of Steel, 8 points in Weapons of Choice. This gives us the 40% glancing below, 1 point in Critical Eye, 5 points in All In, and 5 points in Shadow Master for that +1 maximum shadow and 100% more damage for them, or increased damage. For items and idols, so here we have the idol that you want is % increased damage per active shadow with Shadow Cascade. Since you'll have 5 shadows, each one of these has a chance to give you up over 100% more damage, which is huge. And then as a suffix, health gained on dodge. Now if you don't have any of these, of course getting 2 of the best suffixes and prefixes that you need is going to be really hard. If you don't have them, try and mix and match. You don't need 4 increased damage per active Shadow Cascade idols. I mean, it already does so much damage. You're hitting mobs for 20,000 damage per Shadow Cascade going off, and there's 5 of them at least going off. So it's absolutely ridiculous. So, if you get 1 or 2 of those, and you get 1 or 2 that just have the suffix health gained on dodge, that's all you need. Like, you're going to get plenty of health on dodge, because you dodge, your health isn't even going to be low, but right after you get hit, once you get 8 more dodges, it replaces all of that health, so that's always nice. So, you can mix and match. You don't need those in order for the build to succeed. And then we're wearing 0 uniques. We have all crafted items. We have 2 Decicide swords for 53 melee physical damage each on them as an implicit, which is huge since we're doing a melee physical build. Added to it, we have melee physical damage, melee critical strike chance, increased dodge, and chance to apply frailty on melee hit. For the other offhand, we have melee damage, melee critical strike chance, increased dodge, and chance to chill on hit. For our chest piece, like I said, you want tier 1 mana efficiency with Synchronized Strike on both the chest and the helm. You only need tier 1. You don't need tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Don't waste them. You don't need them. You just need 1 because tier 1 gives you the biggest boost of it, and it's just enough so that you're not going to have mana issues. Second, then you want increased damage per active shadow with Shadow Cascade. This kind of synergizes with the idols. These are also just tier 1 on these items. Tier 1 or tier 2. I don't know what we have. Tier 2. Yeah, tier 2 we have on them. And so when you have tier 2 with it, you can go higher than that, but you don't need it. Like I said, the damage of this is already ridiculous. And then we put dodge rating and increased armor. For the amulet, we went with the gold amulet for that fire and lightning resist. We have increased physical damage, physical penetration. You can get mana efficiency on the amulet, but less than what you'd get with just the tier 1 on the chest or the helm. So getting physical penetration is a more damage multiplier. So it's definitely better to go physical penetration and try and put mana efficiency on the amulet. And then we have flat health and increased dodge rating. For the rings, we're wearing gold rings so we can cover our elemental resistance. And then it will slow you down a little bit. If you want to switch out some of the dodge because you have such a ridiculous amount, you can put on silver rings and get that movement speed. I have Dex, Critical Strike Chance, Physical Resistance, and Dodge Rating. For the other ring, Dex, Critical Strike Chance, Necrotic, and Dodge Rating. For the belt, we have a bronze belt. We have increased physical damage, dodge rating for 4 seconds on potion use. Don't even bother getting tier 5, you're already capped before you use a potion. We have increased dodge rating and flat dodge rating. For the gloves, dexterity, mana regeneration, void resistance, and armor. For the boots, we have increased movement speed, dex, dodge rating, and dodge rating, flat and increased. And then for the relic, we chose the ancient coins for that critical strike increase and health gained on crit. Since you're doing a lot of crits, might as well get some health for it. And then we have dex, increased critical strike chance, elemental resist, and flat health. For the character sheet, as you see, we are capped on all resistances, just standing in place, nothing going on. We have 63% dodge and 18% armor. We also have a threshold, of course, 20% damage reduction in the base with 344. We're not built into endurance at all. The reason that endurance is up a little bit is we have a blessing for it. It just gave us a little bit more of a chance not to be one-shot by bosses. And then we have 71% glancing blow. Now, just with Smoke Bomb, if you stay in it, you're going to go ahead and jump up to 100% glancing blow. Just like that. All you have to do is be in Smoke Bomb, which is a little bit ridiculous. And then, if you want, you also can get it on melee hit. So while Smoke Bomb's not active, you're also going to be getting stacks of Dust Shroud with your melee hits. And so as you also saw with this, as we went, your dodge is going up, so with those you're getting that 50 flat dodge, so you get up to 74% dodge. And then the other thing that you're going to want is the perfection stack. So once you get all this going, I like to put both the smoke bomb and shift into autocast, and that will allow me to have the shurikens be procced every 3 seconds. And then just between these two going off, you can see that with the 10 stacks, let's go ahead and get some shadow cascades going to make sure we 10 stacks of perfection here, and you'll be able to see just how much armor and everything I have. So there we go, we're sitting at 44 to 58% armor. We have well over 75% dodge. We get 84% as soon as we shift for that 1 second, which is ridiculous. But you're not going any lower than 77% dodge, which means that's just a ridiculous amount of dodge. And then as you can see, when we start using Sync Strike and we get in our hits, doing, you know, a bunch of 100,000 damage crits against the training dummy, which is just ridiculous. You're going to be hitting mobs for 10 to 20k, and it just annihilates things. You're going to go through bosses, you're going to go through monos, no problem, and it's just ridiculous. Alright, go ahead and get into some gameplay.